Hey guys, this is Danny.
And this is Jenny Fuentes.
And this is Dear Husband, Dear Wife.
Yes, it is a podcast that is about an imperfect couple keeping it 100% real. Where we talk about dating, marriage, and sex.
Yeah, all of it.
Yes, it is unscripted
Mm-hmm.
and it's centered in the truth.
Yes, we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the messed up, the shady, the pretty things, the beautiful things. All of it.
Oh,
Jam-packed.
yes. So thank you for tuning in and
We
get
hope.
ready.
Yeah,
We hope what?
I don't know. We just hope. We just hope.
We just hope that you will enjoy the episode that you're about to hear.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Enjoy.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
How are you all doing?
Welcome to Dear Husband, Dear Wife with Danny and Jenny Fuentes. I am Jenny,
I am Danny.
and we are excited to be here today. Today we have a juicy episode titled, Did the Spark Really Go Away?
Probably. If you're listening to this, you assume that it has.
So let's talk about when we first met. If you remember meeting your significant other, when you first met that person, you felt what we like to call the spark or the buzz or this high. And we were like, oh my gosh, infatuated and in love. And
You couldn't think straight.
Yep.
Food tasted like trash.
yep, the nerves were kicking in.
There was no purpose in your life anymore except for that one person.
Yep. So I remember when I first met Danny and like all the butterflies and whatnot. And but as time went by, did my butterflies fly away? Yes, they did. And they didn't fly away because they wanted to. In fact, I found out that they flew away and they came back, but then they nestled inside my belly. No, but in all seriousness, research shows that when we first meet someone, we are not only experiencing excitement, but we are also experiencing stress chemically in our brains. Like, it's crazy. Like, we are experiencing both excitement and stress at the same time. So, for example, when I first met Danny, I remember putting my number in his cell phone and thinking, oh my gosh, when is he going to notice my number? Because he had so many Jennies in there. And then also thinking, like, when he calls, what am I going to say? Or what am I going to do? Or when he finds out, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? So I was excited to put my number, but I was also feeling the stress of like, holy crap, like, what is he going to call? Like, is he going to find this? Blah, blah, blah. Like, you get me? Like, that anxiousness in a way. Creating that anxiousness. Putting myself in a stressful situation. And so when we meet someone, that's what we are experiencing. Or when I remember when you told me you loved me. What were you feeling?
Yeah, I was pretty stressed out too because I wasn't sure how you were going to react. But at the same time, I figured, like, I just have to get it out or I'm going to explode.
Yeah. So that's so important. And I'm glad that you said that because that's part of like the excitement and the stress and the tension that you were feeling. So in those both situations, we were both experiencing excitement and stress at the same time. And so if we really look at it scientifically, this means that the spark that we were both feeling at the beginning is actually a combination of excitement and stress.
Stress is a killer, guys. Keep that in mind. Love kills.
Yeah.
Love kills.
So the question always that we get a lot of the time is like, or even we've asked ourselves that question of like, I know I have them, like, do you still love me? Do you still feel excited to be in our marriage? You know? And it's because, again, we have fallen now into a very safe space. The more and more time I have spent with you, the more years I've been married to you, the more I am seeing that stress actually go away. And it's becoming a very safe and nurturing place. And so then I am now discovering a different level of love that is not based on infatuation and stress. But my brain instead is reading it as safety and holistic and tender. And so instead of saying that the spark has gone away, we need to start changing the narrative and realize that we are becoming more intimately in love. And what does that look like? And what is it now? What is it? Instead of chasing stress, we need to look for ways that we can develop more of that intimacy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the crazy thing is this. A lot of the times we still argue and think of like we need to have this spark. And instead, we don't realize that what we're doing is very detrimental to our relationships. This will lead us, this search for this high need, or like this need for stress, for tension, for excitement, leads us in a lot of times, in a lot of ways, to fall into addiction, or to fall into cheating, or to fall into looking at someone else and flirting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's revolutionary, like when you think about it that way.
Revolutionary. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's understandable why you have a really high divorce rate today. It's understandable as to why a lot of relationships don't work. It's understandable why marriages end. Because I think there's a misunderstanding of, I'm not as jittery and as like laser focused on this one person like I was back when we first met.
Yeah.
And it's not that. I mean, even in our marriage, I know that you have asked plenty of times, and you still do.
Yeah.
If I still love you like I first did. And I feel like I definitely do. But I also, like, can I say that, do I see you the way I first saw you when we first met? No, because I've grown in this relationship with you for such a long time now that my perception of you has also changed for a better version. Not saying like, yeah, Jenny, I don't see you the same anymore, but that's to say, like, yeah, I don't see you the same because we didn't just meet. We're pushing 11 years married. Now I see you much differently. You've matured, I've matured, we've both like grown together. We've learned a lot from the relationships where it's like, yeah, in the first couple of months, like, again, nothing makes sense, nothing tastes good. You're like crazy infatuated, like you can't work right, you can't think straight, and everything makes sense when that one person is sitting right next to you. And yeah, that's great, that's wonderful. But I feel like the real trophy comes in like, okay, what do you do when it's been 10 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you look at that same person, in spite of all the craziness that has happened, within those 10 years, can you still say, yeah, you know what? That's still the person I'm going to stick to.
Yeah.
And my thing is always this, like I've always told Jenny, if for any reason, like, she died and I was alone, or if I was stupid enough to completely destroy this marriage, like I actually would not have the desire to want to be in another one with someone else. Because it's like, dang, there's only one Jenny. And I'm never going to find another one like Jenny. Granted, I could probably find me another woman that's like, insanely physically attractive. But will she have the qualities that Jenny has? No, absolutely not. Can I get the same outcome, the same caliber of a married life with that other person? Absolutely not. It'll never be the same. So that's why, like, for me, and again, I'm only speaking for myself. I can't speak for anyone else. You know, I've made my mistakes. I've regretted many of the mistakes that I've made. But I am proud of myself to say that I have not screwed up bad enough to where I've destroyed this marriage. Because this is the only one. This is it. It's a one and done kind of thing. You know, if I burn this one to the ground, then that's it. I quit life. I give up. I don't want it. I'll get fat. I'll get fatter, I should say. I'll get fatter and uglier. But yeah, I think marriage is supposed to help you grow. You know, it's not, don't feel bad if you guys are not like staying up till 3 a.m. talking because you're just so infatuated with each other. You know, it's okay. You know, for those of you that have been together for years, or for those of you who, you know, call your spouse, oh, this is my high school sweetheart, or whatever. You know, it's not bad, you know, because you guys have grown together. You've been through life together. There's been some challenges. There's been some hardships. You know, and if that person has stuck by your side for this long and you guys are still around, then that just shows that there's been some serious growth. Don't worry if other people are like, oh, yeah, we go to the club every Friday and been doing it for the last, 2 years. Good for you. That sounds exhausting. Sounds, tiring. But whatever. At the end of the day, it's about how you choose to view what you have and what you do with it. Jenny and I, again, we're going to be turning 11 years in May. And, there's things that I've always wanted to do with her that for some reason she grew up believing that they were 100% wrong. But, she's slowly coming out of her shell and starting to ask, well, why have I assumed that this was wrong this whole time? And so, there are a couple of things that we're now taking into consideration of possibly doing, just because, again, it's with Jenny. I want to do these things with Jenny. It has nothing to do with going out, clubbing or anything. And it's just fun stuff that I want to do with Jenny. And I feel like it would be great because I know she loves that, doing that too, or she wants to do those things. And I want to do those things. It might seem boring to other people, but not to me because I'm doing it with Jenny.
Yeah.
And what matters to me the most is that I get to do this with Jenny.
Yeah.
So can I say that the spark has died? Well, when I met Jenny, I was 17 and just heavily addicted to porn. So yes. But do I still love Jenny? Absolutely. I want to be with her. I choose to be with her every day. And again, I'm not chasing an emotion that I had back when I was 17. Because those were emotions that were all over the place. But now I feel like these emotions that I first had when I first met her are now tamed. They're controlled. They're still there. They're just not going crazy like they used to, It's not that thing where, oh my God, I'm going to get fired from my job because I just can't stop texting this girl because she's so hot. Or, oh man, I can't go to church because, it's just, I was up till 5 a.m. just talking to her over the phone. No. When it's 8 p.m., I'm going to bed. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. But, I love Jenny. I've grown with her. I want to keep growing with her. And I know that as time goes by, as time passes by, I will become older. And I will still see Jenny with the love that I have.
Yeah.
But that love will have grown.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot deeper. Much deeper.
Yeah. I think one of the interesting things that I've come to discover and find out is, it's like as I was hearing you talk about this, you made a really good point. Like, you were a 17-year-old when you had these feelings, right? Or whatever. Let's say someone meets someone and is really infatuated at the beginning of their year of dating, right? Like, you're 26, you're 27 years old, you're 28, whatever. You're even 30, let's say, and it's the first time that you're falling in love, quote unquote. So, like, I think realizing that in marriage we are called to mature together in one another. And the way that I'm seeing it is like it's not about a spark, but it's about, love's not about a spark. Love is about being able to endure hard things and be able to stick around in the long runs even when things don't seem fit for you at that moment. Yeah. And so I think, if anything, the goal shouldn't be for couples to continue to experience the spark, but instead the goal should be to become more intimate. For intimacy to be the goal. And intimacy is not just sexual. We've had our dry spells of sex where, like, I used to think that, wow, if I'm not having sex with my husband, he might not love me. But the truth of the matter is, more and more I'm discovering that sex is just a portion, a very important portion, not to say that it's not, because sex is important. But it's not necessarily the ultimate goal either. I wasn't created to just be banging my husband or my husband banging me.
Yeah.
But I was created to be able to fall in love with my husband by doing life together, by experiencing pain and joy together, by growing together and feeling those growing pains together, by adventuring and transitioning together in life. And so I think many times we forget that the reality is like, if we are really concerned about keeping a spark, then we are very, and I'm just going to name it for what it is, then we are being very superficial and very immature in our relationships.
Yeah.
Because I think it takes depth to be able to say, I still love my husband or my wife, or I still love my girlfriend or my boyfriend, even though that spark's no longer there. Yeah.
It takes a lot, because, I mean, to some extent, we're all chasing the thing that just drives us. But the mistake that we make is we misinterpret certain things in our lives as the drive, or this is my focus. And so, like that's where true power is. It's not so much, do I still get the butterflies when this person walks past me? Yeah, what if you don't?
Yeah.
Does that mean that you don't love them anymore? That's it? So then in reality, whatever you felt was solely based off of in the moment.
And to be fair, like, I think the beauty of sex, like, I still get butterflies when I am craving you sexually. Does that make sense? Like, I still get like this little like like my body gets like this.
Well, thank you, babe.
Like I think my body's experiencing stress at that moment, because it's like, I guess I'm sexually either frustrated or want to be done.
Yeah. What can I say, babe? You got 2 minutes. I'm a 2-minute man. I'm not ashamed of it. You don't like it? Go cry. Go cry to someone else.
But the truth of the matter is, I'm sorry for those of you who are listening and probably cringing at this moment.
I don't give a crap.
But, I mean, the truth of the matter is this, is like, yeah, there's still that attraction. Like, there's still that. I think, that's the beauty of, like, intimacy sexually, too. Like, like you experience that. And so I think the fear is not, the fear shouldn't be, like I said, the fear shouldn't be, are we losing that spark? Did that spark die? But in fact, you should be asking yourself, am I really still willing to walk this life with this person and do life with this person? Whether this person ages, whether this person gets diagnosed with an illness, whether this person, all of a sudden, goes through hormone changes and whatnot. So like those are things that we want to be able to say, yes, we're still there for one another, and finding creative ways to want to love each other and support one another.
I remember a couple years ago there was this guy that if you remember, this is at Pie Hop. This older gentleman would come in with his wife every night, and he would be in there for, I think, maybe an hour at the most, just him and his wife every day. I never got his name, I never got his wife's name, but they were there every day. They would walk in every day together. And then at some point, he started pushing his wife in a wheelchair every day.
Oh, yes.
And then at some point, he started walking in by himself every day. And when I finally got to speak to him, he had mentioned that the woman that he was with was his wife, and that she was ill, she was sick, and that she had passed. But the fact that he stuck with her, and I didn't know the full story, but every day he would show up to the same place where Jenny and I were at the time, to just go and be with the Lord, just for 1 hour. And he still went by himself, like after she had passed. It made me think, like, dang, like that's the kind of marriage that I want to carry, where it's like, I mean, I hope and I pray to God that it never gets to that point. I mean, we're all getting older, but regardless of what happens, whether I was to get sick or, God forbid, I receive the worst possible news, or, I find myself pushing Jenny in a wheelchair, like that's going to be me. I'm going to be that guy that's, if I'm going to get bad news because, related to Jenny, that, I'm not just going to walk away and be like, oh, this is not what I was looking for, or I didn't sign up for this. You know what? Like, that's when I'm going to stick around, I'm going to be that guy. And so love is hard. Love is definitely hard. I will say, the way things have been portrayed as far as relationships and marriage today, I feel like a lot of people shouldn't be involved with each other, because there's just no sense of direction when it comes to what God created to be. And only only real men choose to love, choose to be in commitment, choose to be with their spouses, choose to stick around. That even though when crap hits the fan, they're not just going to be like, you know what, I'm going to go chase after this younger blonde-headed girl, but are going to stick by. They're going to be there. They're not going to call it quits, and they're just going to keep pushing.
Yeah. I love you, baby.
Love you too.
I think it's so important to understand something. I think when you were talking about that man, Danny, it reminded me of one thing that Scripture says, and I think this is a great way to kind of end this episode, is a lot of times we want to blame our spouses and saying, oh, they're no longer meeting my need.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is if you are saying this about your partner, oh, they're no longer meeting my need, then that's first and foremost, you are being a very needy person, and you're probably seeking the need in the wrong place. Because the truth of the matter is this: Scripture says that Jesus came to give life and life in abundance, and he is the fulfillment of life. And so if that is the case, you shouldn't be putting that pressure on yourself or even on your partner, but instead, if you are being very needy, then you need to really just be with Jesus and find the fulfillment in him first and foremost. Because when you find fulfillment in Jesus, then you can love your partner or your spouse without having to feel the pressure that they are the ones that are going to resolve the issues for you or fulfill you. Because you don't find fulfillment in a marriage.
Yeah.
You're never going to find fulfillment in a marriage. You're not going to feel fulfilled, fully fulfilled in marriage. Some people say, oh, once I become a parent, I'm going to be fully fulfilled. I've talked to so many of my friends who are married and who have kids, and they're like, I still feel like I'm chasing fulfillment. Like I need something else. You know, you're never, unfortunately, we're never content.
We're never really satisfied.
Exactly. And so that satisfaction, that need, that infatuation can only be really filled with Jesus, because he's the only one that can do that. And so how liberating is it to be able to say and admit, oh, shoot, if I'm feeling needy right now from my spouse, to be able to go at the feet of Jesus and be like, Lord, forgive me because I'm actually expecting Danny to fulfill this for me. But the reality is that I need you right now, or I haven't been near you, Jesus. Yeah. And that's why like intimacy with Jesus is so important. You got to see your relationship as a 3-chord, knot type of thing. You know, it's you, your spouse,
braid. Or 3-chord braid.
3-chord braid. There we go. It's you, your spouse, your partner, and Jesus at the center of it, right? And so like I can't feel fulfilled, and I can't expect my husband to fulfill me, but I can only find that in Jesus. And again, that is so freeing, because it allows me to just love Danny without having to feel like he has to give me something in return, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And that's so beautiful about that man, you know, like one thing is, yeah, he's walking with his wife. He would walk in with his wife. But the one thing that resonated even the most is, even after his wife passed away, he realized that the one thing that he was consistent and he needed to keep on going was God. And so showing up at a prayer room to be able to pray and spend time with the Lord, you know, like that in itself is very important. So if you are feeling like, man, my husband, my wife is not supplying my needs, or that spark is dying and they're not fulfilling them, then you got to ask yourself the question, are you really trying to like fulfill a need with a person who is so flawed and human? And if that is the case, then bro or sis, you're totally like looking in the wrong place, and you need to really fulfill that need with Jesus, because then you can love your partner unconditionally without having to expect anything in return. Yeah.
I don't think it matters what we try to do or how far we take things, or how knowledgeable you could be in anything. The reason why Jenny and I work is because God has always been present.
Yes, he's at the center. He needs to be.
Otherwise, this wouldn't work. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
This wouldn't work. When you don't have Jesus as the center, you only see the bad stuff. Yeah. And so if you only see the bad stuff, why would you be involved? Why would you be around? But when you have Christ as the center of your marriage, then you see your spouse the way God sees them.
Yeah.
And so the truth is, and you may hate me for it, I don't care what you believe or what you don't believe. If Christ is not in the center of your marriage, it's not going to work, and you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And that's a promise.
Yeah. Yeah. So
there it is.
Yep. So did the spark die? Well,
who knows?
Who knows? That's up to you, I guess. And at the end of the day, you can determine whether or not you're still in love.
Yeah.
If you determine your love because the spark died, and you say you're no longer in love, then dang, dude, that's a shallow way.
We are sorry for you.
Yeah. But instead, our goal is to pursue intimacy both with Jesus and together as one, as a couple, pursuing Jesus, and therefore in return, we will find fulfillment in God, and it will be very easy to be able to love the person that we are with.
Yes.
So, hope this helps.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys for stopping by. Hope that this was beneficial to you and your free time.
Yeah.
Thanks again for joining the podcast group. We will keep coming at this.
Yeah.
With the best content that we have. We don't have all the answers, but we're just here to share our experiences. No marriage is the same, so what works for you, awesome. Take it. Make it your own. And if it doesn't work, pass it on. Whatever.
Yeah. And thank you so much for listening and for always being consistent. And honestly, like, we would love for you to share our podcast. The more people can hear it, the better for not just us, but just, we really feel like we we want to be able to serve other couples. So if you know other married couples, please do not be afraid to share our podcast. Also, please check out our website at DannyandJenny.com. We have a couple of news coming out, a couple of things, a couple of cohorts. We are dreaming big, and so we would love for you to partner with us and to be involved in any of these experiences, from memberships and cohorts. So explore DannyandJenny.com and sign up for our newsletter if you have not yet. All right, y'all. Have
All right, guys.
blessed
Thank
day,
you very
evening,
much.
night, whatever it is.
Have a good one.
All right.
Till the next one.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much again for listening to the episode and for tuning in to the podcast. Again, I hope that the episodes and the podcast are encouraging. I hope that it brings you guys new light, new perspective, a new approach to marriages, to relationships. We hope that it gives you guys the right tools to be able to move forward and how it fits best for you.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or you want more details, just go ahead and follow us on Instagram at our Instagram handle, which is Danny and Jenny, or email us at contact@DannyandJenny.com. We look forward to
hearing from you.
Yeah, and to the next episode.
Awesome.
All right.
Take care.
Adios.